Every show has episodes that make you feel uncomfortable or uneasy. This is especially common in cartoons. I mean, Regular Show had a bunch of them involving Mordecai and his simp tactics.
Great, it's a date then. Haha.
Oh hey, what's up, CJ?
Mordecai, what's going on?
What?
Aren't you taking me to that movie?
What? Shoot.
Mordecai, what is she talking about?
Wait, hold on.
Oh no.
And Adventure Time, while being a banger cartoon with some of the best episodes to ever grace Cartoon Network, is not exempt from having those episodes that just disgust you, confuse you, and make you want to forget you ever even watched it. Anyone who has seen the show knows that seasons 1 to 2 of Adventure Time are cute and silly. Finn is just a boy who just wants to have innocent fun fighting monsters while having his brother Jake the dog to be the moral compass he could learn from, in a way. But to make a show compelling, you can't just have the main character remain static. The 2 episodes I'm going to discuss today not only revealed a new side of Finn we hadn't seen before, but also changed the perception of the show as a whole. You see, I wasn't gonna make this video, but with the amount of people asking for it, here I am analyzing these, let's just call, strange episodes. While they are the episodes we Adventure Time fans would rather forget and not talk about, I'd argue they are actually essential watches to understand the complexities of our main character, Finn the human. Let's get to the first episode, titled All the Little People. This episode begins with Finn and Jake sitting on top of a hill, where Finn asks Jake a good question.
Do you think you should date someone just like you, or someone who's like your opposite?
This question not only foreshadows what is gonna happen later in this episode, but also I want you to take note of their surroundings. It's sundown, and the water below them doesn't look like water, it looks like lava. We're gonna see this backdrop again, just in an entirely new context. We then see Magic Man pop out of the grass behind them, but he goes undetected by the pair. Jake responds to Finn's question saying that finding someone isn't necessarily about logic, although you may think that is the case. When it comes to feelings, you can't exactly control them. Magic Man laughs at Jake's over-the-top performance on feeling feelings when Finn asks him a very random question.
Alright, well, what about BMO and Ice King?
What about them?
Would they make a good couple?
That question was a straight flashbang. Magic Man wears a cheeky expression as he pulls out a sack and chants a magic spell.
Do what thou will be the whole piece of law.
This quote is from a philosopher slash occultist named Aleister Crowley. I'll analyze this quote more later on in the video. So Magic Man then attaches the sack to Finn's pants and says,
I'm not coming back.
Yeah, this quote always seemed more important slash ominous to me, and this exact same sentence comes back later. Jake responds to Finn's inquiry about BMO and Ice King, stating,
You're creeping me out.
I'm just thinking out loud. What? Can't think out loud?
Yeah, poor guy has no idea what he's in for. They leave the hill when Jake spots the sack at the edge of Finn's pants. They take it out and see that the pouch has a bunch of characters from the show, all in miniature form. There are some really deep cuts too, as Finn says later.
D-listers, go back in the back.
Some one-offs from season 1 even. Jake says they probably shouldn't mess with them, but Finn's curiosity gets the better of him. So Finn and Jake get back to the house and then look at PB and Lady Rainicorn, who seem to be having a deep conversation about something. Finn says,
It's hard to say, but I think it's got something to do with Lady being pregos.
Whoa, what kind of narrative are you trying to create here?
I agree, Jake. What the hell is he trying to do? I also like this because it gives some nice connective tissue to the previous season. When we find out that Lady Rainicorn is pregnant with Jake's kids. Jake asks what other stuff is going on with the little people, when Finn mentions that Ice King is just chilling by himself, and Jake asks,
Ice King? He's not C-list?
What's great about this is that it shows that Finn has kind of stopped hating on Ice King, ever since he found out in season 3 that he's just a human who had some bad luck. Let me know down in the comments who your favorite Adventure Time character is and why. Also, please leave a like and subscribe while you're down there. Little Ice King starts drumming, and little Jake plays along with his viola. Big Jake then says,
They've got good chemistry. Who'd have guessed?
Chemistry.
Finn repeats it to himself and starts looking around. He ignores what Jake is saying and continues staring into the void creepily.
Earth to Finn. Are you okay?
Yes.
That night, Finn takes out the little people in his sleeping bag and he starts quote-unquote experimenting. He first takes out LSP and Mr. Cupcake, and they seem into each other. But then Finn takes out Lady Rainicorn. He takes a peek outside to see if Jake's still sleeping, and when he confirms that he is, he puts LR next to Mr. Cupcake. Finn forces them together and the two start flirting with one another. This is a pairing we also saw in the episode Video Makers, where Jake rightfully gets jealous when Mr. Cupcake goes off script. And his reaction is almost identical in All the Little People when seeing them making out. So then Finn gets this devious look on his face and he empties out the sack of the rest of the little people. Okay, pause. What the f is actually going on? I can't be the only one who's so extremely weirded out. We have never seen Finn act like this ever.
Whoa, what kind of narrative are you trying to create here?
Let's continue. The next morning, Jake is surprised to see Finn up so early, but he reveals that he hasn't slept. Jake thinks Finn's been up reading the dating books by JT Dogzone, another running joke in the show. But Finn tells Jake that he was just messing around with the little people. Jake turns to see little Jake down in the dumps. Then this happens.
Hey Finn, pass me a little lady.
You guys broke up.
What?
She's with someone else now.
Who?
He's a cool guy. Don't worry about it.
This line is diabolical from Finn, especially after what we find out in the next few seconds. Jake here is laughing, and he sees that little LR is kissing little Finn.
What the man?
Finn just laughs it off and says that they're just toys. We then see a bunch of weird pairings Finn has forced, clearly ones that are unhealthy and won't work out in the long run, including a threesome of some sort. I don't even know what's going on anymore, man.
Weird, but cool, right, Jake?
I don't like where you're going with this. It ain't wholesome. I'm going to go to ladies for a few days, clear my head.
And things only get worse. Finn starts playing with himself. Honestly, I don't even know if that's a euphemism or not. He pairs up Flame Princess and Little Finn, and they share a cookie. Finn then takes out Little PB and puts her in between the pair. And you already know where this is going. Finn forces Little Finn and Little PB together, and they start kissing. And all I can really say to Finn is,
what kind of animal are you?
Things start escalating as the little FP and PB start a fight, and everything just blows up. A full 4 months later, apparently, Jake comes back after clearing his head to see Finn in a horrible rut. The two look at little Finn, not fully understanding what he's feeling, but at the least, they can see he looks sad. Jake asks where's little LR, and she's still crying. PB, on the other hand, started working out after little Finn dumped her. So Jake has enough and gives Finn a reality check.
You crossed the line from weird curiosity into some dark, messed up stuff.
I know!
The destruction, the depravity, the wrongness of it all.
He tells Finn that he's taking the little people back to where they found them, but Finn stops him. He wants to fix things, but it's a little difficult because it's established early on that the little people can't see or hear the big versions of themselves. So Jake proposes an idea that the reason they can't hear them is because there's some weird 4-dimensional barrier. Finn tries to use his tongue to try to make contact with him, and that's when we see the perspective of the little people. We see that little Finn is standing at the cliff where the episode began, and when Big Finn uses his tongue, the water moves chaotically. As I stated before, the water looks like lava, representing the chaos and turmoil that Big Finn has caused the little people. This isn't enough to get his attention, so Jake proposes another idea to try and shake little Finn to establish a connection between their dimensions.
Okay. Finn! Finn!
Listen, I wouldn't put too much thought into this if this episode wasn't as creepy and perverted as it already is.
Now go faster.
Finn!
No, don't.
That's what she said!
Alright, come on, you guys know that was coming. Finn shakes him, and he establishes a connection. The little Finn sees Big Finn appear in the form of clouds when he says,
I'm why you guys is fighting! I'm the big you! I came to apologize!
And then he says this line.
Never mind, it'll be fine! Goodbye, little Finn! I'm not coming back!
Sound familiar?
I'm not coming back.
Also, listen to how the little characters talk.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
This is going to be important for when we get into Frost and Fire. Little Finn seems to understand what our Finn said, so he then says the same thing to the ladies.
I caused all the problems! It wasn't anyone's fault! Don't be mad at each other!
This episode isn't real, man. With all that done and dealt with, Finn presses play on a tiny boombox, and it seems like they all just got over it. Oh yeah, it ends with BMO and Ice King dancing, a cute callback to the beginning. So, what kind of sick, twisted, and depraved mind came up with this episode? Trust me, I had the same thoughts when I first watched this, but upon further rewatches throughout the years, there's a lot beneath the surface we can unpack. Let's get the obvious one out of the way. This episode is to show Finn entering puberty, where he starts to think some really weird shit. This is reflected through him forcing these little things to make out, becoming a weird sort of entertainment to him. And he eventually starts inserting his little self into these depraved and lustful scenarios. However, there's another theme at play here. Let's go back to what Magic Man says.
Do what thou swill be the whole piece of law.
The spell he casts on the sack is a quote from Aleister Crowley's philosophy on true will. It emphasizes that people should follow their own path in life, focusing on freedom and personal discovery. However, this doesn't mean simply doing whatever you want. It's about seeking a higher purpose beyond just following random impulses or desires. Let's quickly take a look at Magic Man. I won't get into all of his lore because he deserves a video for himself. Leave a comment down below if you guys want that. But essentially, the guy's a dick who does whatever he wants. In a way, during Magic Man's first appearances, he acts like a god, meddling in human affairs and manipulates things to fit his own agenda. Let's go back to Finn. Unlike the quote, Finn gives in to his selfish desires, playing God to the little people by manipulating their actions, causing pure destruction. How is this connected to Magic Man? Well, in the beginning, he says,
I'm not coming back.
As in, do what you want. And what does Finn say to the little people?
I'm not coming back!
The difference here is that Magic Man said it not to step back from other people's businesses, but to stir even more shit, reflected through him giving the sack to Finn, knowing that it's gonna cause chaos. Finn, on the other hand, is regretful when he says he's not coming back.
I jumped them up too hard though! I gotta step in!
Effectively finally listening to Jake.
Just let them do their own biz, man.
Now this episode is also a great character study of Finn. As I stated before, Finn was always seen as this goody two-shoes who never did anything villainous intentionally. This is the first time he does, making him a deeply flawed character. He's manipulative, and this trait comes back to bite him in the other weird Adventure Time episode titled Frost and Fire. This episode begins with Finn and Flame Princess on a date when Ice King cheekily taunts her.
You two should get a room! You and that log!
Obviously, Flame Princess loses her shit and kicks Ice King's ass. Finn sees this and starts blushing. That night, he goes to sleep and has his dream.
My body is engulfed in flames!
What?
What's more important about this scene is what you can hear subtly in the background.
What?
It sounds like a character mumbling some words in the distance, which we'll get back to later. Finn wakes up and tells Jake about his weirdo wet dream, and he decides to make Flame Princess and Ice King fight again so he can have that same dream. The two have a picnic in the Ice Kingdom. Yeah, not subtle at all, Finn. And Ice King says this.
Oh, hey kids! Fine day for a picnic!
Oh, dang. Did you hear that? I think he's like making fun of you.
Finn somehow convinces Flame Princess, and naturally, she goes for another ass kicking. Poor Ice King gets tossed. Finn blushes yet again because he's a horny bastard, and that night, when he falls asleep, he has a similar but also completely different dream. This time, Ice King is the one who's blasting his nuts.
That's what he said, right, guys? Because of gay?
And then, Finn sees the Cosmic Owl. You know what that means, that this dream is a prophetic dream. Finn rushes downstairs to tell Jake about his horrendous dream, and tells him that there was someone else there too.
He was in the first dream too, but he was whispering. I couldn't make out what he was saying. Oh yeah, it was the Cosmic Owl.
Jake freaks out and tells Finn that he needs to have that dream again to figure out what the Cosmic Owl was saying. In his desperation, he writes two harsh letters, one to FP and one to Ice King, making it seem as if they wrote them to each other just to provoke a fight. Finn addresses it to each of them quickly, and the two get mad and go in for a Dragon Ball fight scene. Flame Princess begins to win, which causes the Ice Kingdom to melt. The hot steam causes Finn to pass out, and he has the third and final dream. It starts off pleasant like the first one, with his pants on fire. You get it? Because he's a lying bastard. But then, steam begins emitting from his body, and he explodes. What is left is this weird, creepy looking man baby. And just listen to his voice. Sound familiar? Flame Princess looks disgusted at the thing, and Finn begins throwing a tantrum. She walks away, and that's when we see the Cosmic Owl front and center staring down at Finn, where he says,
You blew it.
Huh?
If we go back to the first dream, that's exactly what you can subtly hear in the background.
Blew it. Blew it.
Huh?
Finn wakes up and realizes what he's done, and goes to save Ice King.
Help, Gunter. Please. I meant after you saved me.
He confesses and apologizes for what he did, and tries to explain his reasoning. But then we see this.
Important because the Cosmic Owl was
Flame Princess' perception of him has completely changed. The letter he wrote had some personal bad shit about herself, and she dumps him. The episode ends with Ice King reiterating what the Cosmic Owl said to Finn in the dream.
You blew it, man.
This episode is a direct tie-in to All the Little People. That episode foreshadowed Finn's horny and manipulative side, not only through his actions by controlling the little people, but also in the way they talked. The hairy form he transforms into symbolizes Finn behaving like an immature, lust-driven man-child who manipulates others to get what he wants. On top of that, the similarity between the voices of the little people and the man-baby suggests how this unchecked lust can lead to a pathetic state of mind and being, where one becomes unintelligible, whining like a helpless baby. Another theme that connects the two episodes is that idea of free will. See, since Finn had that first dream, he claims that the Cosmic Owl was there, a character that literally causes dreams to become true. He could hear him saying, "You blew it," but not see him. This eventually leads him down a path where he does blow it. Does that mean that Finn in this case didn't have a choice in his actions, and that his relationship was gonna blow up in flames? If the Cosmic Owl wasn't there, would he have provoked another fight? Let me know what you guys think down below. Overall, even though these are the episodes I rewatched the least out of all of them, I recognize that they've got some pretty cool themes that relate to cool concepts like playing God and free will, as well as having great character building for the main character in the show. Can you imagine how boring the show would be if the writers didn't introduce this core flaw of Finn that he can eventually overcome later on in the show? These are the episodes that changed Adventure Time from being a fun show with deep lore that kids can enjoy to a show that touched on very mature themes relating to puberty and growth. Do you guys agree with my interpretation? Leave a comment down below if you have any other ideas or details you noticed regarding this episode. Thank you again for all the love and support over the last few Adventure Time videos. There are plenty more to come. Please leave a like, subscribe, and ring the bell icon so you get notified for when I upload more of these types of videos. Check my other Adventure Time videos here if you haven't already. Also, if you have any video ideas for me to talk about, please leave them down below. Thanks for watching.